I believe every man needs a dream worth dying for. If a man lacks this intense purpose in his life and all he's dreaming about is how to use his next 2 weeks of vacation, how to fill his life with little pleasures, slowly but surely his heart will stop beating. A man without a big enough dream is a sad spectacle to watch. It reminds me of going to the zoo and seeing the caged lion. Now, when you look at the lion behind the glass, it is impressive. He's looks amazing. You see this majestic beast, you know he's the king of the jungle, rippling muscles, not a care in the world, knows I'm the alpha. But you also know he's dying inside. He rarely moves. He looks bored. All we want really is to see that lion get up and stare us in the eyes, or give a huge roar, or say with his body language, I could instantly kill you if I wanted to. The caged lion never does that. He just lays there, content, sad looking, waiting for the next meal, flipping his tail to flick the flies away. It's incredibly sad because you know in the wild he would be so much more. And this is a man without a big enough dream. I believe the acceptance of a dreamless man is one of Satan's greatest tactics against modern masculinity. The devil has put a little carrot in front of us in the form of job security, suburban satisfaction, social acceptance, and many of us follow it right out of God's will for our lives. We then wake up one morning and wonder why we feel dead inside, even though on the outside we have everything we were told would make us happy. Are your dreams too small? I pray not. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 signs that your dreams are too small. Number 1, if you still feel comfortable talking about your dreams publicly, then your dreams are too small. When your dreams are the right size, you will quickly learn not to talk about them with other people. You will sense their dismissiveness. You will feel them holding back their laughter. The confusion will flash over their face before they regain their composure and say something nice like, wow, that's really cool. And this is not a complaint against other people, like, man, people should be more supportive of our dreams. That's not what I'm saying, because this is your dream. I have my dream. Other people have their dreams. And God's given you that dream, not anyone else. It's your vision to steward. And if you heard other people's dreams, you wouldn't understand those dreams either. Proverbs 14:10, each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can share its joy. Additionally, it's dangerous to talk too much about the dreams you have, because if people do validate you for them and they do praise you and it kind of makes you feel good, that's actually really dangerous because it starts to make you feel like you've accomplished something, even though really all you're doing is talking about your dreams. Proverbs 14:23, in all toil there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty. Number 2, if you know how to accomplish your dreams already, they aren't big enough. If your dream is so simple that you already know every single step that you need to take to accomplish this dream, that's a problem. Now, I'm certainly not saying that you should be clueless about it. If you're a wise man, you have some maturity, you've been investing in yourself and learning, of course you're going to have a good idea of the steps you need to take, and that's good. That's a good sign that you're walking in your gifting from God when you know what to do. But when your dream is the right size, it will also include barriers that you're just not sure how you're going to overcome. A godly man learns the power of taking the next step he knows to take rather than waiting to know all the steps before taking that one right next step that he knows to take. It's like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So if you remember in Daniel 3, they were confronted with a big problem, that they were commanded to worship this false image created by King Nebuchadnezzar. And they didn't really know how they were going to solve this problem ultimately. They just knew the first step right now is to deny that request. We are not going to worship the false image that you set up. Now, God may deliver us, or he may not. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. When you're walking on the right path and your dream is the right size, it's not all going to make sense instantly. So what? That means you're on the right path, because your dreams should be more than you know how to handle at this level of your maturity. And through that process of walking forward, you're actually going to be increasing your maturity, and God's going to open those doors that need to open through giving you that wisdom and action steps to take. Number 3, if you still have enough time to waste time on boyish, immature things, then your dreams are not big enough. Perhaps one of the hardest parts about being a man at this point in history is the lack of good examples that we have around us. Because if you wanted to find validation in dreaming small, it would be extremely easy, because the general consensus is just have fun, live up to the status quo, get a good job, pay the bills, have some fun along the way, maybe delay your adulthood, like don't get married right away, don't have kids right away, go live your life a little bit and then settle down and follow the track that all the other men follow. That's the safe route. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to have a steady job or to live in a suburban house or to enjoy some of your youth. But I am saying that when you are rightly dreaming with God and you have captured the vision He has for you, there's going to be a need for actual sacrifice. You will actually need to give up some things that you don't want to give up. You will actually need to do something different than the rest of the worldly men around you. If you're a young man and God's put it on your heart to get married earlier than you expected, that's going to be a sacrifice. If God's called you to have children earlier than the modern man does, that's going to be a sacrifice. But that is a calling worth pursuing, if that's what God has put on your heart or given you that opportunity to do. If you have a ministry desire, a business desire, these things are not going to be accomplished by you playing video games on Saturday, using all your vacation time to actually go on vacation, to spend time with all the many, many friends you have that want you to hang out. If you're not willing to sacrifice some of that to pursue your dream, then you have not found the right dream to pursue, because you will want and be willing to say, I have 2 weeks vacation. I'm going to use half that vacation to pursue this dream. I'm willing to work Saturdays. I'm willing to not play video games in the evening after work and work on this dream God has given me. 1 Corinthians 13:11, when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. Number 4, if quick pleasures are still more appealing to you than working on your dreams, that means your dreams are not big enough. What would it take for you to never look at porn again? What deal would it take for you to say, if I could get this, I would never look at porn again? Or if I could get this, I would give up playing video games. Or if I had this, I would not go to the bar every weekend with my friends. The reason you keep falling to quick pleasures is because you have not found your true calling yet. Now, I'm not saying we should be motivated to be godly to, get this business or this ministry or this wife or these kids. I'm not saying that the carrot is going to be big enough for you to obey Christ. Ultimately, we need to be filled with the Spirit, and that's what's going to be producing the fruits of the Spirit. But nonetheless, when you are following God, that's going to be expressed in an actual tangible way. It's not going to be this monk mentality where I'm passionate for God, so I stay home and pray all day. That's, prayer. Obviously, we need to spend time doing that. Reading your Bible, of course, we need to do that. But you're going to actually be expressing your Christianity in tangible ways that God has put on your heart to do when you're passionately following God. Your love for God is going to be expressed through loving people and loving Him, but not just in this ethereal, generalized way like love people. Well, how are you going to love people? What is your vision for loving people? And when you find that expression that God has put on your heart and equipped you to do, you are going to be passionate to do it if the Spirit of God is in you and you're submitting to that call. Simply put, when you have found your true calling, when you are on mission, you just don't have time for stupid, sinful pleasures. And I'm not trying to like bash you right now. I'm talking from experience, because I can look back at my life and I know that the biggest seasons of backsliding I've had, the biggest wastes of time and sinfulness I've had in my life have occurred when I have not been pursuing a big enough godly goal. When I have been like King David. When you think of King David, when he sinned with Bathsheba, you read 2 Samuel chapter 11, you realize he was not where he was supposed to be. He was at home chilling, not on the battlefield where kings were supposed to be at that time. Hebrews 12, 1-2 states, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God." And number 5, if you can accomplish your dreams in your own strength, they aren't big enough. One reason modern Christian men struggle with a passion for God is because our lives are so safe we feel like we don't require God. Satan loves earthly safety because it's a strong temptation for us to fall for the lie that we don't need God. We can just do this ourselves. This is one of the tactics that's talked about in C.S. Lewis's book called The Screwtape Letters. Indeed, the safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings, without milestones, without signposts. Small dreams are dangerous because you can trick yourself into thinking that you can live this life without God. And when your dreams are the right size, you will know deep in your soul that it's impossible for you to do this without God's intervention. May we all have stories of deliverance like Paul did. In 2 Corinthians chapter 1, 8-10, he said, "For we do not want you to be unaware, brothers, of the affliction we experienced in Asia, for we were so utterly burdened beyond our strength that we despaired of life itself. Indeed, we felt that we had received the sentence of death, but that was to make us rely not on ourselves, but on God, who raises the dead. He delivered us from such a deadly peril, and he will deliver us. On him we have set our hope that he will deliver us again." If you want to keep studying God's word with me and other men, then make sure you subscribe to this new YouTube channel. I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com. Until next time, God bless.